Hello everybody, welcome back to Transnation eSports Oceania Regionals. We're here today for the penultimate round of the season here at Brazil. Championship pitch-up, it's going to be me versus Josh. I think Aaron is out of the title running now after USA, or he might mathematically still be in it, I'm not too sure. But you'd basically need to win these final two races, and me and Josh would basically need to not score, so very unlikely, but anyway, we'll see. Coming into this, I was pretty confident. I felt like I had reasonable pace, but as you'll see in a few moments time when we head over to qualifying, my momentum was abruptly halted by what I thought was an issue that I had resolved quite a while ago, but annoyingly it returned. Now, as you can see, as we come around this left-hander, we're down to second gear, third, fourth. Now watch this, as we try to shift up, we go straight to sixth, so it's like we've lost fifth gear. Now, this is a problem which I've been having for a little while now, is I can't speak English, but you see it again right there, we go straight from third to fifth. So, and there, 5th to 7th, so I don't know what is going on. I'm hitting the paddle to upshift, and it's going up 2 gears, but as I've said on Twitter a couple of times, and I've spoken to a couple of my mates who have the exact same Logitech steering wheel as what I do, a lot of them reckon that, you know, I should just take it apart and maybe make sure nothing's broken or anything like that, or clean it. Well, I can say all that has been done. The wheel was pulled apart, it has been cleaned, it has been looked over, everything was fine. But yeah, for some reason this weird little stupid issue is still happening and still really annoying. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Luckily from memory it did sort itself out for the final run of qualifying and for the race as well, but yeah, it was really annoying having to basically try and drive your qualifying lap not knowing when you might lose a gear realistically. So yeah, very awkward. But anyway, we're here for our second lap of the session. Our first one only an 8.7. Obviously it was nothing special, we were running pretty low on ERS, and obviously I was driving fairly conservative, a bit worried about the gear upshift problem. Couldn't think of what I wanted to call that then, Jesus. But anyway, purple sector 1, so far so good. Bit squirrely again on exit, but again, as you can see there, straight up to 5th and up to 6th again. So yeah, honestly you actually think it's a gearbox problem, to be honest, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's certainly behaving very strangely and not doing what it's supposed to. But anyway, we're going to come across the line to finish this lap. What is it going to be? Come across the line for a 108.3. We jump up to P2 right behind Josh. 1-2 in the championship, 1-2 on the leaderboard, so not bad. But anyway, coming on to our final run of the session now. We've been dropped back to P4, Josh to P3, as Mackenzie's actually somehow thrown himself on the provisional pole position. I have no idea how he's managed to do that, but I think he may have had a helping hand with a few tips from a certain somebody for this race, and the person that helped him out is certainly a rather quick individual. So yeah, Mackenzie has obviously found his feet a little bit at a track that he typically doesn't like, but we're going to come across the line now. It's a marginal improvement, still only on a 108.3 and only P4, and man, I can't lie, that's not good. That's pretty shit, to be honest. As you can see, we're less than 2/10 off, but that is just how competitive this field is. And I mean, there's what, 8 tenths covering basically 11 cars as well, so you know it's pretty close. But
okay, the first lap is always a bit hectic. Make sure you give other cars a lot of room. We don't want any problems.
Cheers for the interruption there, boss. But anyway, like I was saying, only 3/4 of a second basically covering the top 10. So the field spread isn't that massive, but I reckon the field will get quite spread out once this race gets underway. The rain is set to disappear probably, I don't know, I'm going to say around lap 10 maybe, and then we'll switch over to dry tyres.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
Alright, so as we head off for the formation lap now, what is a rather damp and horrible looking day here at Interlagos. We'll bring up the championship picture real quick so we can give you guys an idea of just where we stand. So there are the standings after USA. Josh still leads on 145, ourselves P2 on 141, Aaron in P3 on 125, so definitely think it's going to come down to me versus Josh, if I'm brutally honest. Constructors, Renault actually leads, surprisingly, on 177. Williams second on 149. Ferrari third on 141. So Ferrari could potentially maybe nick P2 from Williams in the end. I think, who are the Ferrari drivers? I know James is one of them. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But anyway, back around to reform on the grid, going at snail pace for whatever reason. I don't know what Josh was playing at there, but anyway, like I was saying just before the formation lap started, starting on intermediate tyres, I think it's for about around half a dozen laps, I think, something like that. So around lap 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, something around that window.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Alright, we are ready, and here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go at Brazil, and I think Mackenzie's actually jumped the start there. He definitely moved before the lights went out. So that's a tad bit awkward for the Merc driver there. But down into turn 1 we go. We got James on our right hand side, but we maintain P4 for the moment as Macca, what are you doing? I can actually confirm post-race, he actually didn't end up with any penalties this entire race, but instead he decided to jump the start, so I don't know with that man, it's either one or the other. But anyway, so far so good for us. Josh gets a little bit tail happy there, out of, what was that, turn 4, turn 5, something like that. On to lap 2, Aaron very deep in the turn 1, actually makes contact with Josh there. We have to cut the corner a little bit to make sure we don't collide and turn Aaron around. That was a really scruffy first corner there. I don't know, Aaron just caught out potentially by Josh braking early, but onto turn 5, 6, I can't remember what corners these are. But anyway, Aaron a little bit wide through that long sweeping right-hander. That allowed us to get underneath the racing point, and we should get P3 here, as I don't think he's going to hang around the outside. No, he does not. So that's up to P3 for us. Mackenzie still leading the race at the moment, but he does have a drive-through penalty to serve for jumping the start, which I believe he'll serve at the end of this lap. Well, he'll have to, otherwise he'll be disqualified. But anyway, trying to keep tabs on Josh at the moment, which we've been able to do fairly well. Mackenzie comes in, and a safety car
has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
Okay, so that has somewhat saved Mackenzie. I think that does still count as his drive-through, as he was in the pits before the safety car came out, so that may have saved his race. But anyway, we'll cut over to lap 6 now. Safety car was out for about 2-3 laps. Coming in now. Now, one thing worth mentioning, Aaron has actually stopped for dry tyres. He's at the back of the queue. He's actually on softs. Now, as you can see, the track is already basically bone dry. So, I can't lie, I was half tempted to dive into the pits just then at the restart, but I thought, no, I don't want to, because if I do, I felt like a few people would have followed me in. I might have got held, and yeah, I didn't really want to risk it, but nobody actually come in, surprisingly. But at the end of lap 7, I do believe, by looking at the track map, everybody is pouring into the pits now. So Josh, he might get away scot-free because Williams is right down the end. We might get held a little bit here though, so hopefully we don't. I think we're actually going to get out here, and we do. And unfortunately, so does Josh as well. So the Williams maintains, I think it's actually effective P2, because Aaron now leads the race and leads it by a distance as well. So Racing Point looking very good here, but he's on the softs, and there is no way they will go 30 odd laps. So he has to stop again. So effectively, at the moment, the race order is Josh in P1, ourselves P2, James P3. Effectively as well, I think there's actually a Red Bull not too far ahead of us. That's a nice warning for exceeding track limits. The understeer coming down the hill there was something a lot of drivers were complaining about. It was absolutely horrendous. But anyway, on to the end of lap 10, fastest lap of the race, 1:12.5, not too bad. The track was still drying out, was still rubbering in. You could still definitely feel a lack of grip in certain areas. But anyways, we cut on to lap 12. Josh slightly defensive as we set another fastest lap of the race. We're going to try and look around the outside of the Williams into turn 1. I think we should get that done. He's still there as we get a hit in the left rear there. Unsettles us a little bit, but we hang on to it. That was very sketchy there. That could have potentially wiped both of us out. I think from memory, after having a chat post-race, I think he might have just understeered because he was on such a narrow line. But anyway, no damage to either one of us, so we continue on to, what's this, lap 14 now, as we're trying to overtake the Red Bull. Now, one thing that was also worth mentioning is, I think it's Kyle in the Red Bull. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but he actually stopped just like Aaron, but he actually put the mediums on. So for about almost 10 laps, he was effectively leading this race, which is pretty impressive, I must say. But that relinquishes the Red Bull driver of P2, as now we go chasing after Aaron. Josh still right with us as well. Not gonna lie, I tried to break out of DRS a couple of times when I saw he was like 8, 9 tenths back, as you can see there. Fastest lap, but annoyingly Josh responds straight away, and the gap, I could get it up to about 8, 9 tenths, but with DRS he was just able to catch that extra 2, maybe 3 tenths back up, and I just couldn't shake the Williams off, which is really annoying. But anyway, after a couple of unsuccessful attempts, I really just decided to tone it down a little bit, remembering obviously that we're trying to do about 30 laps on these mediums, but might be a bit sketchy at the end. But we've caught up to Aaron, as never mind, he actually peels into the pits now for what I presume would be another set of soft tyres, or maybe mediums, or I don't know, whatever he chooses to go with. But anyway, coming on to lap 28.
Less than a second separate you. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 20 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 11.4.
Alright, so just checking to see if Josh had any time penalties. Apparently he does not. Neither do we, so we're still effectively fighting on track. But on to lap 29, down into turn 1, Josh tries to go for a move up the inside, bit of contact made there. My fault, not going to lie, didn't leave him enough room, so I apologise for that. We both keep going, we are still within DRS, just, but anyway, on to lap 33 now. Toro Rosso just ahead of us, hopefully he'll pull out of the way, and indeed he does, lets us both go, so the fight continues. But I'm not going to lie, as much as we were, you know, really pushing each other, and we said this after the race, you know, that it was real good, but at the same time, Brazil, more often than not, tends to be a really boring race because you literally just sit in each other's slipstream. But anyway, we ain't going to do that for much longer. On to the final lap of the race now. Are we going to look for a move into T1 on the Williams? No, thought better of it. Would have been too risky and probably would have resulted in damage for one of us, if not probably both of us. But here we go. Edler Centeres' DRS Rich overtake in the slipstream. We're going to go to the outside. We're going to send it really outside. Try and hang on. A little bit of contact made there. We're forced off the road a little bit. Still side by side. This is going to be very close. Up here now, side by side. Still with Josh. Bit of contact made there, and more contact. Sparks are flying. Oh, sparks are flying. I don't know what I actually just said there a minute ago. But anyway, a little bit more contact made now. He's trying desperately to hang on. So are we, as we both go very deep into this right-hander now. But we've got the lead, finally. Side by side for almost 3/4 of a lap. But we finally get the job done into the final corner now. And I think we should be safe to hang on to this race victory. We've got real good straight line speed. We've got fuel and ERS to burn. And I think we should be okay. The tyres are absolutely gone, but who the hell cares? We take the win here at Brazil. Get in there.
Absolutely fantastic. Awesome drive. That was absolutely fantastic. We were owed that one. Absolutely awesome. Well done.
Oh, that was amazing, guys. Woo-hoo! That was wicked. Thank you so much. Fantastic pit stop. Great job all weekend. We definitely deserved that one, guys. We definitely did. Thank you.
Alright, so there we have it, guys. That has been today's video. The Oceania Regionals for Transnation eSports. A few technical difficulties to start off with, but we come away with a victory. Just before the video ends as well, quick shout out to my good mate Sam for the thumbnail for this video. Appreciate it, mate, so cheers for that. But until next time, I'll see you all later.